welcome to my booktube channel. My name is Chetna and I make book related videos on this channel. So if you love reading, make sure you subscribe to my channel. So today's video is a March wrap up. I know I'm super late to shoot this, but I really wanted to shoot this because March was a really good reading month for me in terms of both quality and quantity of books. In total, I read 11 books and across genres. Pretty much excited to discuss them. Let's start. So the first book that I read is The Dressmaker of Khair by Gail Limon. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it is such an inspiring and highly motivating book. It's a non-fiction and slash memoir, if you can say. So our author is a news reporter and she goes to Kabul during the critical times when it was invaded by Taliban, and she is in search of a story, and she finds this entrepreneur whose name is Camilla, and it the book is all about her story, how Camilla has started her own business at very young age, and her support, and all about her family, and it was like a very inspiring book because women at that time were so helpless because they were not even allowed to step out of their houses without their husband or their brother, and they were not allowed to take education. Basically they just have to stay inside their house, and during this situation how Camilla has came up with this idea and of developing her business. It's truly commendable and very inspiring story, so definitely read it. I rated this book as 5 stars and I loved it so much. So the next book that I read is another non-fiction book. It is Do It Today by Darius Forrest. And honestly speaking, I did not like this book so much because I don't know, I am not into self-help books these days. So this book talks about procrastination and how you can overcome it, what all actions you can take in order to do that. And I don't know, I did not find many of the things that are said in this book very helpful, and many of the things were not relevant to me. So I skipped those parts. All in all, I just got few of the takeaways from this book. So I have rated this book as 3 stars out of 5. And yeah, it is totally subjective. Maybe I'm not much into self-help books. That is why I just didn't find it helpful, but it might be helpful to you. So yeah, so the next book is a memoir from one of my favorite authors. It is What I Talk About When I Talk About Running by Haruki Murakami. It is very different from the other books of his because in this book he talks about the importance of running in his life and how he is passionate about it and how it helps him in writing his novels. We also get some glimpse of his personal life as well in this book. And yeah, this book will not teach you how to run, but it will definitely give you some important life lessons. So he talks about his experience when he participated in a marathon and a triathlon, and yeah, this book really like inspired me to wake up early every day and go for a walk, which is the very big thing for me. That is because I have read Murakami's books before, and also I've read few articles wherein he talks about his daily routine, which is like a great thing, I think. All in all, I rated this book as 4 stars out of 5. So the next book is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie McCasey. I have already posted a detailed video for this book, so I won't talk much. But all I really loved this book. It sounds like a children's book, but trust me, the life lessons that are said in this book are very relevant to each and every adult, and I really loved this book for that. And also the illustrations are like top notch, and I have like got the physical copy of this book, and I feel like I should, whenever I will feel low in my life, I will go for this book and just flip through the pages and I'll just smile. That is what I think about this book, and yeah, I loved it. Yes, I rated this book as 5 stars out of 5, no doubt. So the next book that I read is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger, and again it was very interesting and different kind of a read. So it was actually our book of the month for our book club, and decided to read this together and discussed it. So it was very fun. So it's like a time travel concept meets romance. So yeah, we have Henry and Claire. So Henry is suffering from something like a chrono displacement disorder, and due to that he has to constantly travel in time. And he meets Claire when she is only 6 years old, and at that time Henry is like 32 or 36. And yeah, uh, this is what and how their relationship develops, and eventually they get married. But it's like Henry, at one moment he's there and the next moment he's not there. So yeah, it was very like interesting to read. But all in all, it's kind of a tragic love story, you can say. It's very heartbreaking at times. And yeah, I pretty much enjoyed it. But although I have like few pointers which I did not like about this book here and there, which is why I have rated this book as 3.5 stars out of 5. And yeah, this book like has got me really interested into the time travel concept, and I'm looking forward to read more articles related to that, because I haven't read like any book which is specifically based on time travel before this. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, please put them in the comment section below. I would love to read them. Next book that I read is a classic and pretty much out there. Everyone knows about it. It is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and again a very like good book. Definitely 5-star read for me. To Kill a Mockingbird talks about human behavior and about the social discrimination that we face, about the injustice around us. And the best part about this book is that it is narrated from the perspective of a 6-year-old girl called as Scott, and how she sees the world around her. And there are times when there is a big case going on where a black man is falsely accused of raping a white woman, and Scott is there in that courtroom seeing all the things and what is her understanding of law and injustice. It's very like commendable, and yeah, uh, the ending also it's very like heartbreaking, heartwarming at times. And yeah, I really love this book. I'm looking forward to film a detailed review for this, because definitely everyone must read this book. So yeah, read is again from one of my favorite authors. It is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And yeah, it's a classic love triangle trope, but yeah, Taylor Jenkins Reid will make you like personally invested into the story, and that is what happened with me. So our protagonist is Emma, who is married to her high school boyfriend Jesse, and they have a very like good life. They are traveling the world, and they love their jobs. But one day on their first anniversary, Jesse meets with an accident and he dies. After that, it is very difficult for Emma to, move on. After that, she meets her friend called as Sam, and she falls in love with him. But after 3 years, Jesse is back. So yeah, that was kind of a very like big surprise at this point. And now Jessie is back, and technically she is still married to Jesse, but she loves Sam as well. She loves Jesse as well. So yeah, a very difficult kind of a choice to make. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and yeah, the way Taylor Jenkins Reid writes, it's really amazing. And yeah, I rated this book as 4.5 stars out of 5. Next book that I read is Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Again, a very strong kind of a book. I listened to it as an audiobook on Storytel, and it was narrated by the author herself, which was like amazing experience. So this book is actually written in a form of poetry, and it has a very good story like a plot to it, and I am like a total beginner in the poetry world, so this was a good book to pick up at first, because it was thoroughly engaging. So this is a coming of age story of a 15-year-old girl called as Ziomara, and how she has always faced problems due to her curvy body, and the people around her like bullies her so much. And also she has like a lot of issues with her mother, who is very religious and always forces the rules and regulations on her. So eventually she discovers her passion for poetry, and all this frustration she puts it into her poems. And the way Elizabeth has narrated these poems with so much of emotions, that is seriously something else. So I would highly recommend you to listen to the audiobook version, which is narrated by the author herself. It's amazing. And yeah, I have rated this book as 4 stars out of 5. Hi, this is Chetna from the future. Eventually, I forgot to talk about two books when I shot the video, and I realized while editing the video. The next book that I read is Simisola by Ruth Rendell, and I'm glad that I've finally read this book, because it was like sitting on my bookshelf since a long time. It's a mystery book, murder mystery book, and our story starts when a girl called Melanie, she is missing. She goes missing, and there is a whole investigation for that. So our protagonist is a detective called Mr. Wexford, and he starts with the investigation. And as we proceed, we get to know that there is another girl who is murdered, and she was the one who last contacted Melanie before she died. This was a very good like a mystery, and the writing also was fast paced. I really enjoyed it. And yes, I really liked how the author has described various social issues such as racism in this book. And yes, there is a trigger warning for domestic abuse in this book, so keep that in mind. When I was going through the review for this book on Goodreads, I found out that there are like already 10 to 12 books like in this series, and which is why like many of the reader found various elements in this book like very surprising, which I did not. But yeah, I look forward to read more books by the author because I really liked it. I have rated this book as 4 stars out of 5. So the next book that I read is 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hahn. And yes, this was very like beautiful and simple kind of a read, and I really enjoyed it. I read it as an ebook, and it's a very short read. It's like only 94 to 95 pages. This is basically a collection of letters which this author has sent to one bookstore owner, which is located in London, and she lives in New York. These are the letters which are sent across for around 20 years, and basically they have this back and forth conversation which turns into very good friendship. So yeah, this is a different kind of a friendship which we don't get to read much, and this is a real story by the author. I really enjoyed it. I have rated this book as 5 stars out of 5. The last book that I read is again a poetry book. It is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So this is kind of a collection of poetic essay wherein there is one prophet who shares his learning and wisdom with the people around him, and he talks about different topics such as love, about death, and law, crime, and there are a lot of topics which he talks about. So the thing is, I might require a reread for this book, definitely, because I don't think I have completely understood the verses that are said in this book. Maybe after a second read, I would be able to connect with the things that are said in this book. So yeah, guys, those were all the books that I read in the month of March, and I hope you got some recommendation from today's video. March was a really good month for reading, but April doesn't seem like a good great reading month, because I haven't like finished a single book till date, and I'm in middle of 2-3 books. Let's see how it goes. That's it for today's video. And if you have watched this video till here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and yes, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.